Good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Spy Party Competitive League. I'm here with Noob, Dalsy, and Noob here, bringing you the action. How you doing, Pwned?
Well, I know you guys it is getting to a nice evening time. I'm nice and here in the morning on the NA side, but it's EU friendly today.
EU friendly indeed. Nice and sunny May weather here in Europe so far. Looking forward to the action that we do have ahead of us. We've got a challenger game, a copper game, and a diamond game to bring to you today. Pash1k versus Fancypants will be up first for challenger, followed by Boldrick and Gmeng saying the only copper game to be played ever. And we're going to have Warning Track versus Bloom as well to round us off with some great diamond action.
We're ramping up through challenger through diamond, so it's gonna be a better play as we go on, but that's not always the case.
It's going to be good to kind of see Warning Track up in diamond now. You know, a player, of course, that's been climbing the leagues ever since he started. Now up there with the big dogs, basically fighting for his life whilst petitioning for diamond to be obliterated. So we'll have to see how he does take on Bloom in that sense. But up first, like I said, Pash1k versus Fancypants, a challenger match here, Pwned Noob. I don't know if you have much experience with these two players.
I don't. So I've played a lot of the challenger guys because I try and keep myself up to date on who's going to be beating me a year from now. Don't think I've played either Pash1k or Fancypants though.
No, I think I'm in the same boat here. So we'll have a look quickly at the picks and bans. You can see that Pash1k's banned away Modern with Fancypants banning away Gallery.
The picks themselves, it's going to be Library and Ballroom as our first two double picks. Rise and Pub as our single picks.
Quite interesting to see Modern banned away. A lot of these challenger players seeming to kind of gravitate towards it. I think due to the fact that most challenger players are coming in with the Steam era. So Modern also coming in with that era as well. Seems like it's a natural fit. But with Modern and Gallery removed, maps that I think a lot of early snipers struggle with, we're going to have kind of the classics in Library and Ballroom for our double maps.
Yeah, of the maps that I think are likely to be either disliked on the spy side or the sniper side, Gallery and Modern make you feel like you're being watched the whole time when you're on the spy. And on the sniper side, it feels like you're missing things because the maps have so much going on. So both sides can be unhappy, and I'm not surprised to see them banned.
I'm really interested to see how High Rise and Pub do play out as well for our singles if we do get that far into the series, just due to the fact that High Rise kind of the map of missed shots, and Pub, depending on I guess the competition between these two, it can be pretty much a sniper orientated map as well. So I think we should get it kicked off. We got up Library as our first map here, and get this series under the way with Pash1k versus Fancypants in just a second.
Okay, I have it's looking like Library with orange dress to start.
Library with orange dress. Yep, I'll count us in. Let's get this one underway. It's 3, 2, 1. Playing it. And we do have orange dress as our spy for Fancypants up first. Of course, it will be Pash1k sniping here. 3 at a bookshelf. Pwned. Look at the highlights.
3 at book, and it's immediate highlights. Well, the ambassador's not the spy. We already know that, but believes in 3 in a bookcase. He's already found the spy, and there's 0 missions done. Very impressive.
Did Pash1k actually ever pick up a book? No, he didn't. So he went to the bookshelf, attempted a bug, unfortunately failed the bug, and now Fancypants is chilling in an innocent conversation. So the etiquette snipers out there may be a little bit curious about that. Of course, you do have to pick up a book if you do end up there.
Unseen for the moment, but he's holding the drink.
That's going to be an instantaneous gulp, leaving that conversation as well. Now we see, indeed, Toby's guest list is gone, and it is going to be Seek who was seen taking it as well. Just confirming Pash1k's here that the guest list is gone. Let's see how he does react to the guest list being removed. Seeming like he is just confirming over and over again. And I guess the suspicion on Seek to like move all the way across the map, that's kind of got to be suspicious as well.
liking the pacing here. When we watch, actually a lot of spies from Challenger on up, they kind of freeze, especially in the first game. With the Purloin done in 49% in the flirt, he's actually making progress though immediately because he's playing the slowest character in the game.
Yeah, that's one of the things that you do have to keep in mind when playing Orange Dress or Sari. Constant movement trying to get from mission to mission. But like you mentioned, really good progress. That flirt now up to 98%. That Purloin now completed. But look at the highlights. We got a really decent amount of highlights. Lowlights, I should say. 8 lowlights coming out from that Purloin. It does seem like they're all fairly accurate.
I think we've done all 3 bookcases at this point because we started at yellow, went blue, and now microfilming at green.
Does seem to go unnoticed as well by Pash1k here. Really good progress as the microfilm has been transferred. So now 2 middle statues we go to inspect our way through. We'll have to see how this one is reacted to. First animation cycle for Fancypants here. All he needs is a contact and a seduce after this. I doubt we're going to see any swaps. That's the second animation cycle. And only 2 statues able to be inspected during that period. That does mean that if Fancypants wants to finish with an inspect, they do have to go back to the statues.
Nice thing about ending with an inspect is they could also do a swap. Assuming that they walk in here and flirt, then all they need to do is go and finish up. Looks like he's actually walking in and doing a contact the double agent, banana bread.
That is going to be a banana bread coming out. Is talking during it. Some more lowlights. That's Seek lowlighted, the one who took the guest list, and there's a shot coming out. Does seem like Pash1k pretty much had the Purloin down to 2 people there. At least in his head, he felt he did. And with Seek removed from the table, the shot onto the white, Bibia did come through, and that's going to be the first round going in favor of Pash1k there.
Making sure that we just get the scoreboard updated. Yeah, really good stuff. I think by both sides. I think that's a good showing on the spy side. The Purloin obviously was caught, and the sniper locking it down and making a shot. Not shoot for just doing the middle statues because he wasn't done. There's no swap. There's not enough missions completed unless he missed everything. And
No, that's true. So good sniping coming out for Pash1k at the end, and now we'll have to see if he can take it up with his spy round here as we get on to the second game of Library here in just 3, 2, 1. Playing it is going to be Cowboy, Tex, Carlos, spy for today for Pash1k. So we'll have to see how he does decide to play this one out. Does join an instant conversation here, may look to try and follow Queen at some point.
with these games where the seduction target doesn't go into a conversation early, do you feel like being? Right now, if he popped over to Queen, that pad's very small. It's a sort of decision point where do you really think the sniper is going to care or not? Pash1k deciding not to chase yet, but he's definitely eyeing her down.
Yeah, certainly is. Making sure he knows where she is at all times. Looking at the ambassador, knows there's a fingerprint going to be on that yellow bookshelf at some time soon. Queen actually joins our conversation and we leave it, sunshining ourselves and attempting a bug that does fail and grabs a big highlight out of Fancypants.
Yeah, this is the sort of game where you really want to remember why you did that highlight. I know personally when oh, okay, we're doing a microfilm.
Wow, okay, there we go.
Shot.
No need to pwned if you catch the microfilming straight afterwards.
As I was saying, so when you do a highlight for an early bug, you have to remember this isn't for middle statues. This isn't for something I didn't like. This is they did a hard tell on my face, and I'm just 90% sure. And you can't let that stop being 90% sure later just because the game's let you down. So that is 2 sniper shots. We're 1-1, correct?
Yep, 1-1 each here, and we'll be getting into the next one here. I do like the discipline coming out of Fancypants there. Highlighted for the bug was probably around 80 to 90% sure that Bug did attempt it, but wasn't ready to shoot until he saw another hardtail, or at least enough soft tails to make that shot. So good patience here in Challenger. It's definitely a sign of good things to come. And so we jump into game 3 here. Let's count it down. 3, 2, 1. Playing it is going to be Fancypants on Danny DeVito, the small man here, looking to just blend on into the crowd.
I do like the pick of small man in the second game, because the first game you're not really sure. Are they gonna just highlight him because he's so small and so sneaky? This game you can go check the replay, go find out if they care, and if you decide that they don't care.
That's a side statue. Just one inspect coming out from Fancypants, and a highlight as well for the side statue as well. He's chilling on this pad for a long time. Is looking to try and bug the ambassador. Does get the drive-by, and that was completely unseen by the sniper as well. So the hardtail has been completed. We'll have to see if Pash1k is... Oh, wow. Okay, we're stopping on the bookshelf pad. We're jumping into a conversation circle afterwards. Crazy stuff happening with Fancypants.
2 bugs that were not that impressive, and then that bug, even if he had the laser around there, it would have been hard to see. It was behind the pole, and it had the right angle. It was really good.
Ah, so I know what's happened here. Fancypants was ready to stop on that book there, Pwned, and remembered that he got a highlight for being 3 at a bookshelf. Now he's found himself in the middle of a conversation. This is some sloppy pathing, I would say, is probably the fairest way we could phrase it. But he is going to join the conversation circle with his seduction target here into an instant flirt. If there was any heat on small man already, you have to imagine that it's getting hotter.
Yeah, I don't mind the insta-talking flirting here on Library because it's a very large map. I'm hoping that they don't take that as a lesson, that they can do it in later games as the maps get smaller. I believe we have High Rise on the list, and if they continue to do that, the snipers might catch, oh, this pathing.
That's really unfortunate. That's, you know, not really Fancypants' fault there. There is some difficulties with Library where if the game believes there's no available path whilst you're holding down W to move forward, it will bump you. Is meant to be fixed soon, TM. We do see Fancypants reading at this window pad here. It's a good spot to transfer the microfilm. However, Fancypants has been reading for quite some time now. Has to stop reading this book at some point if he's planning on transferring the microfilm here. It does seem like Pash1k is pretty certain that there is something going. We do actually see a instant leave of the bookshelf pad the window pad as well. So etiquette breaks. You do have to stop reading before you leave any pad other than a bookshelf pad. But the straight up transfer of the microfilm does come through into an instantaneous book take from Fancypants here. So really just testing Pash1k sniping.
He read that book for a very long time. It must have been very engaging. And that's really the big thing. Is microfilm is kind of a you get shot or you don't. It's not too often that the sniper isn't sure to a point that they only somewhat credit you for a microfilm.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair point. He's still alive, but he does only have 41 seconds left to go here. Pathing straight through the middle of a conversation circle. Fancypants is on a mission to win. Is going to go middle statues here. Has to complete 3 missions. Has one of those inspects completed. The flirt at 68% in range for that one more flirt. Here comes the swap. We're going to do 2 inspects. We're going to run. Oh, a missed shot onto Irish as well. Maybe we can get a replay of exactly why that missed shot did come through from Pash1k. Wasn't what I expected the way of this game to conclude.
Yeah, so it looks like Irish's last action was putting a book into the green bookcase, and then the shot, he was trying to line up the laser for a few seconds. I suspect it was just microfilm.
Yeah, potentially misremembered where the book was from.
Yeah, precisely.
So that's a really unfortunate missed shot for Pash1k. It did look like Fancypants was en route to actually complete there. Had the swap completed, was going to finish his inspects, would have been a mad dash across the map to get to his seduction target to finish that flirt off, and then we would have been into overtime. Either way, that is going to be that missed shot coming out from Pash1k, putting Fancypants up 2-1 in this series. Now with a chance to snipe, we'll have to see if he is able to convert that into a lead in this series. Let's jump on into it, counting it down. It's 3, 2, 1, play. and it is going to be Salmon coming through here for Pash1k. We'll have to see how he does decide to play it out.
Starting off with the green bookcase. Nothing here. I disagree with it. It does nothing here. I disagree with it.
Yeah. So that was an AI control to the green bookshelf. One of the things that, you know, Kaylee and Steph, I think very rightly kind of touched on last week during the European SCL broadcast was the fact that it does seem some of the newer challenger players do leave their spy on AI control a little bit longer than the more experienced players. The fact that Pash1k has gone from bookshelf to bookshelf is enough for any sniper to be a little bit suspicious, but also the fact that he's not actually planning on doing anything with bookshelves as well. You know, not holding on to that book, not looking for any microfilm transfers. It was purely just the flirt that Pash1k was interested in.
We move on to mid statue, which is potentially going to get us a highlight. If we don't get the highlight, it's incredibly strong value.
Doesn't seem like we've actually been spotted here at middle statues. Fancypants very much preoccupied on small men and everything on the left side of the map. Library, a map where you do have to be very rapid in your camera movements as a sniper. Now we do see Pash1k contacting the double agent. Banana bread will be muttered. It is a white banana bread, and he is going to split immediately out of the conversation here. Some highlights for talkers in conversations. Some lowlights have come through as well. Pash1k's third book touch of the game, looking for that flirt once more onto his seduction target, is going to get a white from this distance, putting him up to 59%.
Did we touch all three books? Or did we
yet.
do green, yellow, green at this point?
Yep. Green, yellow, green.
Good
Potentially
mission
we'll put it in the bookshelf.
This is going into blue, guaranteed. You come over here, you're casual, and then you put it in blue, and you go finish your flirt, and then what do you think the best fifth mission is going to be in this case?
Bug generally a fairly decent option. You know, there's been some great bug opportunities so far this series. Pash1k is going for that blue bookshelf transfer. And is 3 at a bookshelf once more? Wee call the police. It is going to be fairly unnoticed though. Does seem that that Fancypants wasn't really too bothered about that. Still no highlight for Pash1k. He's made great mission progress, the contact transfer and inspect, and all that are highlights so far. So that's something that, you know, you have to be feeling fairly confident. Unless you believe that the sniper has seen you, you should just be full speed ahead. A seduce and what could you do? Potentially fingerprint with a minute. Not the easiest task. Just swap. Just sit on the statue and swap. So much cover with Salmon.
Yeah, Pash1k's done a really good job this game of doing things, his hardtails, on the other side of the map from where Toby and the ambassador are. And it's generally a good policy, because it's unlikely that the sniper is going to be watching you as much as they are going to be watching where the mission sites are. This green flirt's huge, by the way.
Right. Yeah, if he didn't have a green, then he would have had to have exited conversation and rejoin, all within a minute left on the game. During this innocent conversation here, fairly strange. You've got 23 seconds left. You don't really want to do a hardtail, putting yourself in overtime. Let's see how Pash1k does decide to finish this. Currently eyeing up the ambassador, and we're going to try a drive-by whilst they're walking the opposite direction. This is difficult to complete. That's a failed bug, oh dear. 7 seconds on the clock. Pash1k with great timing, but can he finish? The safety is off. He's looking for the shot. He's not going to shoot because there's no overtime tick. Pash1k doesn't complete. That is going to be Fancypants going up 3-1 on the first map pick of Library here, Pwn Noob.
To do the time ad right at the end of the game, I think it would have resulted in his death anyways, but he did it a bit late. I'm not sure the both characters walking bug was gonna be the best option there, but he left himself late when he had about 50 seconds for that last mission.
Yeah, no, I think potentially the lesson learned is how underrated swapping a statue on Library can be, especially if you get one of those side statues. You have a large character model like Salmon Danger here, where you can really just block up the majority of the sniper's view. As long as you do it before that 10-second mark and avoid any overtime beeps, and it's going to be very difficult for a sniper to make a shot onto that. Pash1k potentially just needs to reconsider the value of swapping statue late.
Yeah, the other thing that he did, he put himself in a place in the conversation where he couldn't purloin. And while he doesn't have to purloin, he could swap, he could bug. Just having the option of being able to request Toby in case everything just goes terribly, all the statues get busy and the ambassador is not friendly to you. He took away that option, unfortunately, and I think, but he didn't, and so we're at 3-1.
Yeah, 3-1. That was Pash1k's map choice as well. Fancypants able to take that in a fairly dominant fashion with a 3-1 lead. Switching over to Ballroom now. This is Fancypants' home ground, so we'll have to see if he can turn this into anything more of a lead for himself. Let's count it in. It is going to be Fancypants sniping in 3, 2, 1. Playing a bit of Seek here. Going straight to side statue with the takeover of the AI control and going to potentially even look for a swap. If he gets it quick enough, could be a fairly decent shot. Yeah, so I do think Pash1k's potentially got an eye onto that. Just looking through the sniper point of view, he would have seen that it was a Venus statue. Now it's a head. So for Fancypants, this could be suspicion added. If you didn't see the statue, you kind of just have to credit a swap to Seek anyway. Just due to the fact that you didn't see it and he was at statues so quickly.
I think the saving grace for Pash1k is if Fancypants decides to go get the other inspects, that's the big sign for going awry, and that's probably the spy.
In a very buggable position there.
On Ballroom and Library, I approve with it. There's no point in waiting around if they catch you.
That's a highlight coming through, just due to the fact that he went from bookshelf back into the conversation with the ambassador. Of course, ambassador is tapped here, one of the easiest models to kind of get a bug onto. And so it does seem like Pash1k has suspected that a bug has happened. A sunshine does come through, general leaving the window pane. Very difficult to get those window flirts off. Fancypants now standing next to the ambassador, but Discipline doesn't want to attempt any bugs. There's a blue book in hand. Let's see how he does play it. Good etiquette, making sure to stop reading. And oh, here we go. Straight over to the green bookshelf, looking for that microfilm transfer.
Fortunately, he took a highlight for taking out the book, or at least that's a shot.
Yeah, no, that was a highlight for taking out the book, I think. Well spotted, pwned. So the mental memory there for Pash1k was that was a blue book. If it goes green, then Fancypants is dead.
Precisely. That puts us at 3-2.
Yes, 3-2. Pash1k has to win a spy round here if he wants to equalize the series, and then snipers can kind of sweep Ballroom. We'll see if that does happen. Let's get on into Pash1k's sniper spy round here in 3, 2, 1. Playing it. It does look like Pash1k is going to be playing Rocker for us. So the queen of the microfilm transfer, if you want to go for that soft 2-part transfer. Otherwise, fairly bright character stands out in a crowd.
Finding a spy win is going to be necessarily impossible. We got Ballroom, 3 more games, and then High Rise, which both are about as close as you're going to get for 50-50. That path by Wheels was impressive, by the way.
Yeah, I wonder if there's any suspicion for pathing here. Doesn't seem like there is. It's going to be a fingerprint, though, for Wheels, so a little bit of suspicion. Highlight does come through for the middle statue. Pash1k was only able to complete 2 inspects, though. This is going to be a purloin at statue. That is
very cheeky. Purloin that you very much want to green, because it's... But the AI will basically never take.
Does gulp the drink immediately, so really trying to reduce the evidence trail here. And I think Fancypants is struggling to see if this Gestus has been purloined, because there hasn't been really any reactive highlights for it.
Got away with it.
All right. Pash1k, very short pathing, looking for the fingerprint on this blue bookshelf. Wonder if he'll just put the book back or if he's looking for microfilm transfers. It was the way he was able to shoot Fancypants. Oftentimes, it does feel like a spy won't complete the same mission that got the win for them as a sniper. So instead, we're going from fingerprint to fingerprint here, statue to statue. There's the inspects, there's the fingerprints. Well, you're going to just pop it down, and I think now you just finish with either a seduce. You've got a minute 30, you can get, what is it, 66% in no time, or you could contact the double agent. What would be your preference here, Pony?
I would prefer at least attempting the flirt in which he is doing now, and then just trying to close out the last flirt, but knowing that you still have the contact double agent in the back pocket. Missions that involve the cast, you want to be a bit flexible because they can be rude.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Especially on Boom as well. Like, if that double agent decides to go from bookshelf to statues in the last minute, then you're not going to be able to contact. So, Flirt's in a position where we're winnable now. Does look like the double agent is actually coming up to us. Let's see if he is disciplined enough to go for the flirt. The cooldown should be expiring in just about 10 seconds' time. Pash1k seemingly waiting for it as well. It's going to be a relatively quiet game. The pressure on Fancypants is pretty hot now to make a shot. Flirt continued just as the seduction target does decide to leave, but it does complete 5 seconds on that mission win countdown. And Pash1k has done the seemingly impossible here in Ballroom. He's equalized the series with a spy win.
I would like to point out, these guys both lost their week 1 matches, and I'm wondering how. They're both playing really well.
I have to agree.
Particularly on the spy side. I'm impressed with these spies.
It's good pacing, and that's the best thing about it, Ponent, is that early on, for especially for the challenger folk who are coming in and playing their first SCL matches, Spy Party already a fairly stressful game, and having to then play it in a pressurized scenario, it's very difficult to mission complete. But we do see that we've got a spy win here on Ballroom, and potentially more to come in this series as well if these guys keep it up.
If we go through Ballroom and it's tied 4-4 into the new maps, that would be fantastic. Right now it's 3-3. I would like to see snipers making some miraculous shots here. Would be my preference. On your count?
No worries. 3, 2, 1. Playing it with Fancypants bringing the action on Bling Twin. We've got Twinception as Plain Twin is the seduction target here. Just a confusion technique. Both twins are going to be fairly active, and they're going to be talking to each other a lot. See if that will confuse Pash1k on the sniper.
Yeah, one of the things I really like about having Twin as your seduction target when you are a twin is it's really easy to watch what your seduction target's doing because they have an arrow above their head. You're already watching them anyways. So you know particularly if they're already doing suspicious things. Mid-statues, it's really hard for you to get a flirt with them.
Not to mention the twins are fairly synchronized. We got a green book take for, or a green book look for our spy Pash1k here, and then the seduction target over to the bookshelf of the blues. So, now what I want to see is a middle statue inspect for both of them at the same time, really just syncing up the suspicion, making that 50-50 shot harder. There's going to be a purloin straight up white from Fancypants here. Pash1k hasn't seemingly seen that the guest list has disappeared. Now the flirt has started. It's only up to 30%, a little bit of distance. Getting out of the scene of the crime here. It does seem like Pash1k is still blissfully unaware that guest list has gone. Potentially will check the guest list now, though, now he's seen the twin take a drink. Or not. Seemingly very invested on what Wills is doing at the moment.
Fine, I don't think it had much to it. It was just out of the blue, and out of the blue is a phrase that you want to be doing things in Spy Party. If you can bug the ambassador out of the blue or take a list out of the blue, it's a lot harder for the sniper to catch, even if it wasn't.
Oh no. Just a second too late on that reverse drive-by attempt on the bug. One of the cool things about bugging For those who didn't know, you can actually complete a bug by starting it as the ambassador walks past you. Your arm will reach out the closest to the ambassador at the time, and of course the ambassador will be on the completely other side of the map to that arm. Oh wow, we're getting a bug and a briefcase return. Incorrect briefcase return. When the ambassador's hands are full, AI tend to just drop it where they stand. So Fancypants does return it to attempt the bug. But Pash1k's not too bothered by it. We've got a contact double agent now over to statues, inspecting them. Seems a little bit unnecessary, considering that this is a 4 out of 8 map. He could have just gone to his seduction target and potentially finished the game at the bookshelf.
Don't mind the statue here, as long as he doesn't do another one. He just needs to green the flirt, though, is the problem, and you don't want to rely on the green flirt, otherwise this game could fall apart. Having the other statue as a backup isn't awful.
Well, he spotted his seduction target. Looking at the paintings, we got 25 seconds, and Fancypants going to middle statues. Only needs one inspect, so middle statues a lot of heat in the last 17 seconds of the game. There's the inspect going through. There's the completion on the missions as well. 10 seconds on the clock and 5 for that mission win countdown. There will be no overtime. Fancypants has left the crime. And now it is going to be another mission win here on Ballroom.
Mission by Pash1k. In a game where Purloin and Double Agent have been completed in your face, on Ballroom, a spy just needs to flirt and go to mid statues, and that's precisely what the spy did. But he doesn't shoot anybody, as there was only like 2 seconds left in the game. Choice. I'm not sure if it's optimal.
Yeah, so I definitely appreciate the idea of not seducing the seduction target at the end there, due to the fact that the bar was at 64%. If you hit a white, that's going to be 34%, meaning you're at 98. So the fact that he didn't attempt the flirt earlier when he was at bookshelves, when he didn't have to touch statues before, meant that actually going for a seduce was far more riskier towards the end. But also the double statue touch, and not to mention a middle statue touch as well towards the end. That's something that a lot of snipers would just shoot you for outright.
I think it might have been that he already thought he had seduce done. Would be the other explanation. But because that's exactly the sort of thing that I do when I have nerves going through me, and this is only their second competitive spy party game. I'm sure the nerves are flowing.
That's true as well. So we do see Fancypants go up 4-3 here. Pash1k was able to equalize the series, and now we're on our last round of Ballroom. Let's get it underway. 3, 2, 1. Playing it. Pash1k's going to be playing Cowboy, the Texan Ranger here. We'll have to see if he's able to get a spy win to keep this series locked up at 4-4.
I think we've had a lot of male characters.
Apart from Orange Dress, I think that every character has been male, yeah.
I think this is also familiar. Going to mid statues early. We'll see if we get all 3 inspects.
Yeah, last time it was just 2 inspects for the middle statue. This time, doesn't seem like any AI are going to complicate for us, but 2 animation cycles were completed, so Pash1k's going to obey statue etiquette, put that statue down back where it came from. Now over to the seduction target for a white flirt of 34%. Gives us good pacing for the potential 3 flirt. Past the ambassador we go. A bug attempt successful. And
look at that on the sniper side, it was behind the pole.
Wow, that's lovely positioning from Pash1k. So that bug seemingly just going to be completely invisible to Fancypants. Pash1k's now over to this green bookshelf. 68% on the flirt. 1 more white, and we're on a home run here. We'll have to see how he does look to complete missions. Looking for just a read of this book. I doubt we're getting any microfilm transfers here. That flirtation cooldown has expired, so the green book goes back. Now Pash1k just needs to inspect 1 more statue, finish that flirt off, and then a potential contact of the double agent, and we've got ourselves our 3rd spy win on Ballroom.
Classic ending to this would be flirt, statue, and contact double agent. But flirt and double agent revolve around AI being nice to you. And I wouldn't wait around, because the longer you give them, the more likely they are to be mean.
Ashik's over to the middle statue here. Is there a fingerprint on it? Yes, there is. Okay, so now we're giving ourselves more outs in this game here, Pwn Noob. So one fingerprint on this middle statue. The inspect as well means that you just need another single fingerprint for the potential mission win. That briefcase obviously returned. We do see Pash1k trying to enter the conversation with a seduction target. Does get turned around a little bit, but will complete the seduce. Now you just have to look for one fingerprint or the contact, and that's a spy win.
Island games are incredibly powerful. I think even more so in Challenger. If you can do fingerprints every game, I would frankly do it on a map like Library or Ballroom, just because it's so hard to catch. The sniper knows that you're a fingerprint fiend.
So a quick glance around the ballroom here. We can see that Queen, the double agent, is on the move. Is currently looking at some paintings. The ambassador is chilling in a conversation all by himself. 25 seconds left, and I think that unless Queen joins a conversation circle, Pash1k may not be able to get the contact. Oh, there we go. Conversation circle joined. The banana bread will come through in the last 5 seconds before that 10-second mark. Banana bread, it is a white. He is talking through it. He's sticking to his guns. No stop talks here. 4 seconds on the mission win countdown. And it does seem like Fancypants is clueless to who the spy could be. That's the third spy win on Ballroom. And that's our series tied up 4 apiece.
Nice. Yeah, it looks like he was lining up an overtime shot, but overtime shots do not work when there's 12 seconds left when you do the BB. I'm thinking I got a bit fortunate there that Queen went into the conversation. That being said, fingerprint is really hard to force at the end of a game. Though this has been really strong spy games.
Yeah, for sure. Looking at the bug back as well, completely under the radar of Fancypants on the snipe, like you mentioned. Pretty much full cover for that one as well. So really good timing from Pash1k, and if we watch it again, you can just see that there was he was not seeing it. The camera movement right at the end basically blocked all eyes. Not to mention the ambassador moved at the last second as well. So you would have been feeling fairly good that there was no bug attempt. Now we get into our single map choices here. So 1 round each. High Rise will be up first, followed by Pub Pwn Noob. What do you make of these maps?
Both of them are maps that are easy to end up shooting AI, especially with some confirmation bias. If someone goes mid statues and then walks into conversation and talks, that can be enough on High Rise, and that's not necessarily the spy or AI. It really depends on the day. That goes to the more patient sniper would win a game on High Rise, but both these guys have been incredibly patient.
No, that is true. Only 1 missed shot so far this series, and so that's fairly decent, for a challenger game here. Looking at the missions selected, High Rise, a 3 out of 5 map for the Spy Party Competitive League rule set, and is going to be bug, fingerprint, inspect, seduce, and transfer selected here for Fancypants. This is his first attempt as a spy. It's not often we get transfer microfilm as a mission left on, and not often that we see contact double agent removed either. So quite a curious mission set here. I'm really excited to see how Fancypants plays it out.
On your count.
3, 2, 1, playing it. And it is going to be Fancypants on Taft with a big arm out, looking for an early bug. Straight into the middle of a conversation because he didn't move after AI control. Now over to the blue bookshelf for a seduce onto the seduction target.
Yeah, and this actually is reminiscent of games from last week, the flirt at blue bookcase and get highlight game.
It's good to see that we are getting highlights early for potential flirters, but like you mentioned earlier on library, you do have to remember that that's what the flirts were for. Fancypants walked past the ambassador with a blue book in hand. Now, oftentimes you do see snipers get a little bit paranoid that the bug could have happened, even if a book was occupied. Fancypants once more breaking etiquette by not stop reading not something that he's been shot for so far, so not something that he needs to worry about. But into the conversation with General here, we do see him immediately going for that seduce. It's up to 68% now. With 2 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock, you only need to find 3 more missions, and that's a spy win potential for High Rise.
Trying to get into Fancypants' mind here. When he took the book out to the window, he basically showed it off to the sniper, going, "Hey, look, I have this book." I'm not sure if he did it trying to convince them that the
No, that is not where books go. Bug, and then the microfield transfer. Fancypants will be shot. That is going to be Pashik's
genuinely
finding
forgot
the
that he had a
here.
book in his hand.
I think that might be true. It's quite a shame that he did walk up to statues there. But either way, I think the fact that he was at green bookshelf was enough to shoot. That was almost a rush attempt towards the end there, Pone. Bug, transfer, over to a conversation for the seduce. You have so much time left on the clock, 1 minute and 50 seconds. On High Rise, you can really play it slow.
Yeah, good job on Pashik, not rewarding that tomfoolery to play on the spy side, up 5-4.
All right, well, let's see. The mission set is Bug, Contact, Fingerprint, Inspect, and Seduce. Pretty much a fairly standard mission set here for SCL on High Rise. A lot of folk love this arrangement. So let's get on into it. It's 3, 2, 1. Pashix on the plane twin. Once more twinception for Pashix as he makes Bling the seduction target. Let's see how he does decide to play this one out.
Inception on High Rise. You're gonna get noticed with them a lot easier in paired, and this is a map where pairing is actually the campers, behavioralists, whoever are gonna want to do, because there's only 3 missions.
Right, no matter what sniping discipline you subscribe to or favor, the majority of snipers will start to realize that they can pair people on High Rise who often are found standing next to each other. And so
there's 2 reasons behind it, really. One is on High Rise because someone can go to mid statues, walk into conversation, and a banana bread happens. AI can do that. That's not hard for an AI to do. Spy does the banana bread. And also because there's only 10 people, there's not much to camp. You just have to you start watching things that you wouldn't otherwise catch. That's a highlight?
A highlight over to Teal.
With murder.
It seems like it. He gets the fingerprint, he gets the inspect stun. This could be a Softail game, especially if the ambassador helps out with that. Waiting for his turn to speak. Last time was very quick on the conversation. I feel like a reject on Toby here. Let him go to the ambassador. Try and find a fingerprint on the drink would be super ideal, but we'll have to see if the ambassador will play ball.
Yeah, right now, he got 1.5 missions off that statue and didn't get punished in any way. Yet, he's now going to get a fingerprint off this drink, which is hard to catch.
Yeah. So one thing that, as a sniper, you may be curious about is the fact that Toby offered Pashix a drink and then went to 2 other people and then came straight back over to the plane twin. Now, that technically can happen to an AI. Seems to me the rules are that you kind of have to wait 2 drink offers before calling Toby back over, or else you are showing yourself to be a spy. However, Toby will generally go around and complete offering to everyone else before he starts to make double offers. So something to be watching for in your own games. Pashix now with the fingerprint, with the seduce completed, a banana bread as well, and a missed shot on to Alice. That is going to be Pashix finding himself a spy win.
The shot came off before the banana bread that he was attempting came off, but I don't think it would have helped Alice's case at all. He was already going to shoot her, and coming off a banana bread would have just resulted in more bullets.
So if you look at what Alice did throughout the game, I'm pretty sure she was a statue inspector all the way through, spending a lot of time next to the ambassador as well. Could have potentially grown a bit of paranoia. And I think it was a potential potential phantom bug that really sealed the deal. Oh, in fact, was it that? Yeah, it was. It was the. I think Fancypants felt like Alice went for a bug there. Also, the insta talk as well. Insta talking on high res happens a lot for AI. You know, there is only 10 of them to go around, so it can happen. But you're already suspecting someone because of statue touches and looking to complete missions towards the end, then it can really help with justifying a shot.
Having the idea that someone bugged when there's only 3 missions to be done means if they've done anything else, you have to shoot them. I don't blame the shot. It's just unfortunate because it means that Pash1k has now gathered himself a point, close out the game, up 6-4.
Yeah, no, that's true. This is going to be a point as far as SCL goes. Like you mentioned, both these guys lost their week 1 matches, so this is huge for Pash1k to get himself that point in the series because he's basically locked in the potential for a tie. Now all he has to do is win 1 more round. We're on to Pub to finish us off. It will be Fancypants spying first, Pash1k sniping. So let's get this one underway with the countdown. 3, 2, 1. Playing it. Fancypants on Danny DeVito. Going for a bug. Gets the bug in the chaos. That is going to be a great start for Fancypants.
Down 6-4, and you go, you know what I really want in life? The ambassadors start right next to me on Pub, and I bug. Like that is actually the one thing I would ask for. We are getting our Christmas presents today.
He immediately purloined. He's not even going for a delicate. Fancypants right now is on a mission to complete as quickly as possible. He's down 4-6, and he wants this as much as possible. He's not going down for a second loss. Over to statues. He's already gulped his drink. This might just be the quickest game of Pub I've ever seen, Pone. Let's see how he does decide to play it out. Maybe going to slow it down and just go for the seducers, but the double agent's coming closer. Oh my.
Now understand. When Wodar said, hey, we're going to be casting Fancypants versus Pash1k, I'm like, I don't know these guys, and they both lost. They both played really well throughout the set, on the spy side particularly, and then this game is already fantastic. Is he going back to bar?
He's going back to bar. He's an innocent drink taker. I feel like Fancypants, all you have to do right now is get that inspect going and get that seduce rocking. But maybe he feels like he's already taken too much heat for the bug and the purloin. The fact of the matter is, you've bugged and you've immediately purloined and you're still alive. That means the sniper hasn't seen anything, and that means that you can go to statues, get that highlight, and just finish off with a double agent. Is that what it is? It is, okay. Fingerprint comes through. This is interesting. I guess Fancypants just keeping all mission possibilities open here.
Watch Fancypants go to the bar. He waited till the ambassador requested, and then specifically requested shortly after they did.
He tried to get the briefcase, ends up at the bar, sipping his drink once.
I can tell you from experience, little man back there is the sneakiest. He gets the bar in, so you can get away with murder.
And that's exactly what Fancypants has done 3 times in a round. Bumping the ambassador just behind, now looking for that second fingerprint. Is going to be returning the briefcase to the ambassador, but the ambassador is at statues, so should just plop that down where he sits, and does do so. 1 more mission, 56 seconds left for Fancypants. Finally, a highlight does come through as he is deemed suspicious. Let's see how he does decide to finish this one off and inspect a contact. Both fairly good options right now. Fancypants looking to head back into the bar, potentially looking for that inspect. Oh no, the seduction target. He might just be looking to finish with a seduce. Yeah, this could actually be really good timing. So that's a green, puts him up to 85. Now all he has to do is reject Toby and end up in the same conversation as the seduction target. So let's see how he does play it out. 20 seconds left on the clock. 17 seconds left on the clock. Pash1k only needs 1 more point, a win, and he will have the victory here. 9 seconds, heading on over to the conversation with Rocker, looking for the seduce from across the conversation. That will complete the missions, and we're going into overtime. Who is Pash1k going to shoot, if anyone? You have to make a shot. Someone's about to win. It's orange dress. Of course it's orange dress. Shoots. Unfortunately, it's not orange dress. And Fancypants is going to get his 5th point on the board. One more away from tying up this series. What an incredible spy game coming out of Fancypants. To be that far down in the series and make that many ballsy moves in a row just shows that he is playing for some wins here, Pone.
When down on the count, do 2 hardtails, win game. I appreciate it more than anything. But I'm a Fancypants fan. I would like to see the tie here. But either way, we got a full set. We got to watch 12 games of quality challenger. Guys, one of these guys potentially could go down 0-2. And I wouldn't want to play them being a 0-2 challenger. It's been fun stuff. We're moving on to our last game. It's going to be Pash1k on, I believe, Alice.
Alice it is. Let's count it down. 3, 2, 1. Playing it. All the marbles now on show for Pash1k. He has to complete all his missions here or force the miss shot on pub if he wants to get those 2 points here in Challenger. Otherwise, Fancypants has done it, bringing us back to a tie party. Let's see how he does decide to play it out.
Yeah, it's always going to be interesting what you do on your last game. Fancypants went with the 2 hardtail strategy. Pash1k, a bit calmer. Just a nice 50% flirt.
Fancypants went for the too fast, too furious strategy on pub, which is one that could be deemed reckless but also beautiful at the same time. That's a 50% flirt. Green bean straight off the bat here for Pash1k. He's going to potentially look to delegate the guest list. And he actually is leaving the drink behind. A bug screams checker. And oh my, that's a low light for Pash1k. Reset.
Yeah, okay. I think he's rethinking it. Thing where if you think that your opponent doesn't realize that's an option, then it might have been a good low light, but these guys have shown that they have a lot of knowledge despite not necessarily having as many games.
There's one thing
They're
that
really
many
neutral.
Challenger players have done is they've caught up very quickly due to all the resources available. Pash1k's now looking for the flirt,
Says
the
Bowsy with
delegation.
no sense of self-reference.
I'm not referring to myself. I'm referring to everyone else who I'm scared of in Challenger. And just repeating the words of many veterans many times over.
But from the start, really, it's between the tutorial, just getting people up to speed really quickly, replays, and just a lot of knowledge being thrown around. It's not surprising that these guys have been doing like briefcases not terribly. Like that's really my my inkling of a clean spy. If they're already doing briefcases right, I'm like anything. We're idling here.
We are idling, but also being very aggressive with our map movement, kind of just running around. Going to another innocent conversation, was hoping potentially that Wheels would also join us there. But since he has a briefcase, he's on a mission of his own. Joining the conversation with the double agent is going to be a white contact with the double agent here. Banana Bread said, instant split out of the conversation. It does seem like he hasn't been spotted completing a banana split either.
Fortunately for Pash1k, the suspected double agent was outside of the conversation. He is the only person who could have completed that banana bread.
This could be the nerves coming through for Fancypants. This is your last game of this series. Oh my, it's a inspect into a green swap. 17 seconds left on the clock, and that swap is going to be completed in the next 5 to 8 seconds, you would think. Doesn't seem like any AI are actually too keen on going over there. This is going to be a very long overtime. All right, here we go. Seek now over to the statue to swap. If it happens before the stock ticks down, oh, and it does, we got overtime and the swap on screen. Fancypants makes the miss shot. Pash1k has done it, has taken the 7-point lead in this series, making a win for him. But Ponu, an incredible series all around, an incredible spy play coming out of these two challenges.
We can get 2 more sets just like that. I will be happy. for the rest of this weekend. That was enjoyable. Good job on Pash1k. They're closing out a lot of spy wins, and I think deservingly so. These spies for the snipers. I don't blame the sniper play at all because these games are hard to win. They only left 2 or 3 opportunities each game to get caught. That's a lot for a sniper to really pull in and gather. Really good set, and I think we can move on to right? G-Man versus